It was October the 21st, 2020, when the largest psychotherapy center in Finland, Vastaamo, announced, "We had been breached since 2018 by someone who stole thousands of patient records and demanded a payment of 40 bitcoins, $450,000 at the time, to not publicly release the stolen data. Ransom Man, his name on the dark web, announced in the dark web, "I will start publishing 100 patient profile every 24 hours.
The reality is a little more mundane. To access the dark web, you need something like Tor, which is a piece of anonymity software that was actually developed by the US government initially to protect military communications. Once you're on the dark web, you're essentially going to find 4 different things. The first is drug markets. There's also hacking tools. This is self-explanatory. There's also personal data leaked from hacks. People sell lists of email addresses, social security numbers, passwords, usernames, you name it. If you have a child sex abuse material, that's easily the most sickening part of all of this, and perhaps the largest part of this economy.
But to his own surprise, Vastaamo declined his offer, so he quickly came up with another plan. The hacker turned to individual patients, asking them to pay roughly $240 in Bitcoin to delete their records. Let's imagine this. You were diagnosed with HIV and traumatized about your situation. So, you went to a psychotherapy center for help, which you got. You now feel normal and happy again. Then one day you receive an email saying, "I will expose your profile and medical condition to the world." How will that make you feel? Well, leave your personal opinion in the comment section below. Finnish prosecutors quickly zeroed in on a suspect, Julius Zekiel Kivimäki, a notorious criminal hacker convicted of 10 of thousands of cybercrime before he became an adult. Julius Kivimäki, better known by his online alias Zekiel, was born on 1998 in Finland. From a young age, Julius showed an extraordinary aptitude for computers and technology. Growing up as a child, he spent most of his time playing computer games. It was 2008 when Kivimäki, out of curiosity, while trying to understand how the internet works, he discovered a hacking group named Hack the Planet. Hack the Planet is a well-known hacking group that became prominent around 2012. They were involved in various high-profile hacks and were known for their sophisticated techniques. Here, Kivimäki developed and improved his hacking skill with the help of other members in the group. However, instead of channeling his skills into constructive avenues, he ventured into the shadowy realms of cybercrime. In 2015, at just 17 years old, Kivimäki was already making headlines in Finland.
To us from Finland, this man who calls himself Ryan says he is one of the hackers. He claims the hack only took a few members.
He was convicted of more than 50,000 computer-related crimes. These included data breaches, telecommunication harassment, and payment fraud. The sheer scale of his activities was staggering, and his case sent shockwaves through the cybersecurity community. Kivimäki's 2015 conviction was a landmark case in Finland. Despite the extensive list of charges, he received a 2-year suspended sentence. This leniency was partly due to his age and the judicial system's belief in rehabilitation over punishment.
This is the group responsible for hacking 2 of the biggest computing companies in the world and stopping more than 150 million people from playing their games consoles this Christmas. The group, calling themselves Lizard Squad, attacked.
But Kivimäki's criminal activities were far from over. He became a key member of Lizard Squad, an infamous hacking group known for their audacious attacks on major gaming networks. In December 2014, Lizard Squad took down PlayStation Network and Xbox Live, leaving millions of gamers frustrated during the Christmas season. These attacks brought Kivimäki and his cohorts into the international spotlight.
There's the core members, which is about 3 or 4 people who actually perpetrated the attacks, and then there's various other people involved doing various other things. But this attack, it was basically done by 3 people.
Lizard Squad's attacks primarily utilized distributed denial of service, DDoS techniques. By overwhelming servers with traffic, they could effectively take down even the most robust systems. Kivimaki and his fellow hackers used a variety of tools and botnets to execute these attacks, demonstrating a high level of technical proficiency. The impact of Lizard Squad's attacks was significant. Not only did they disrupt services for millions of users,
and this was my only present for him as well. So it was really disappointing to open it up and then find out that we couldn't use it or plug it in.
But they also highlighted vulnerabilities in major networks. But Kivimaki claimed they did it to prove that the systems was not as secured as was known by these companies.
Why did you do this? It affected so many people. It ruined Christmas for potentially millions of people.
Why we did it? Mostly to raise awareness, to amuse ourselves. Also, one of the big aspects here was raising awareness regarding the low state of computer security at these companies, because these companies make tens of millions every month from just their subscriber fees, and that doesn't even include like purchases made by their customers. They should have more than enough funding to be able to protect against these attacks.
This led to increased investment in cybersecurity measures by companies and greater awareness among the public about the importance of online security. Perhaps the most shocking crime associated with Kivimaki came later. Alright, let me throw a scenario at you. Imaging seeing your age mates driving luxurious cars like Lamborghini, going to expensive places, having hot girls. But you are just a brokey, which is highly skilled. This was exactly how Kivimaki felt, so he did something crazy in pursuit for the money. In 2018, he orchestrated a breach of Vastaamo, a major psychotherapy center in Finland. Over the next 2 years, Kivimaki stole sensitive records of tens of thousands of patients, using this data for an extensive extortion scheme. Kivimaki demanded a ransom of 40 bitcoins from Vastaamo to keep the stolen data private. When the clinic refused to pay, he turned to extorting individual patients, demanding €500 each in bitcoin to prevent their personal information from being leaked. This attack not only compromised personal privacy, but also had a severe psychological impact on the victim.
It's the single biggest crime in the history of Finland, in the history of our country. When you look at the number of victims, a totally unusual case in many ways, not just because of the target of the breach, but the amount of victims, the way the attacker tried to make money out of it, and also unique in the sense that the company which was hit by this breach actually went bankrupt because of...
Like, the boss of Vastaamo, Ville Tapio, was convicted of failing to protect his customers' sensitive data. Investigations found that the databases were vulnerable and open to the internet without proper protections. He was given a suspended 3-month prison sentence last year. The company, which was once a highly regarded and successful business in Finland, collapsed after the hack. That's not all. Some victims were reported death after committing suicide when their records were leaked. To cover his tracks, Kivimaki used cryptocurrencies. Initially, he received payments in Bitcoin, which he then exchanged for Monero, a privacy-focused cryptocurrency known for its strong anonymization features. Despite Monero's reputed untraceability, Finnish authorities managed to trace these transactions through advanced blockchain analysis techniques, eventually linking the funds to Kivimaki's accounts. He was identified by tracing what has been believed to be untraceable Monero transactions. Finnish investigators from the National Bureau of Investigation, KRP, with the help of Binance, followed the trail of payments to Kivimaki, who exchanged the funds for Monero and then exchanged them back to Bitcoin. District Prosecutor Pasi Vainio revealed this as part of the trial concerning the Vastaamo data breach and blackmail. Monero is a privacy-oriented decentralized cryptocurrency that many believe to be untraceable. In August 2022, an upgrade on its ring signature transaction obfuscation mechanism hardened it even further, making tracing transactions practically impossible. To solve this issue, the KRP sent 0.1 Bitcoin to the blackmailer's address to use that small amount for analysis and tracing. This led to Binance, requests for information, and reception of some data about the attackers, including an email address. But as soon as the funds were moved to a Monero private wallet, which is designed to be confidential and untraceable, things became challenging. The small amount, together with other funds, possibly from victim payments, was sent to a second Bitcoin address linked to the same email address, which was later found to be linked to an email server managed by Kivimaki. Also, bank transfers from individuals suspected to be money mules were found on Kivimaki's account, aligning with the timing of the traced payments. Kivimaki exposed all patients' record that did not comply with the payment on the dark web include some of his own personal files. But it was a mistake that the hacker made himself that led police to a treasure trove of information found on a server that Kivimaki owned. When he realized he was being hunted by the police, he escaped to France with a different name and passport identity. Kivimaki had been in hiding since October 2022 as he failed to show up in court, and the Finland police issued an international warrant for his arrest. It was 7 a.m. on February 3rd when authorities in Courbevoie in France responded to a domestic violence report. But before that morning, Kivimaki had been out earlier with a woman at a local nightclub, and later the two returned to her home but reportedly got into a heated argument. Police responded to the scene, were admitted by another woman, and found the man still sleeping off a long night. When they roused him and asked for identification, the 6'3" blonde green-eye man presented an ID that stated he was of Romanian nationality. But the French police was doubtful. After consulting records on most wanted criminals, they quickly identified the man as Julius Zikil Kivimaki and took him to custody. He was later extradited to Finland. In January 2024, Kivimaki was sentenced to over 6 years in prison for his crimes related to the Vastaamo hack. This sentence was a stark contrast to his earlier leniency and underscored the serious nature of his offences, as many of his victims were unhappy, saying the time was too short due to the pain he has landed on them.
6 years in prison is nothing compared to the pain and suffering caused by this hack.
The case of Julius Zikil Kivimaki has broader implications for the world of cybersecurity. It highlights the ongoing threat posed by cybercriminals and the importance of robust security measures. It also underscores the need for international cooperation in tackling cybercrime, as these threats often cross borders and jurisdictions. Julius Zikil Kivimaki's story is a stark reminder of the dangers posed by cybercriminals and the importance of robust cybersecurity measures. If you enjoyed this video and want to learn more about other infamous hackers, make sure to like, subscribe and hit the notification bell. Thanks for watching and stay safe online.